Stuart.
Thank you, Convener. Good morning, Minister. Minister, I listened intently to the contribution that you had with Oliver Mundell. And so Mr Mundell had indicated that things are working well. Well, I certainly don't recognise that in the area that I represent. Certainly since 1979, my area has been decimated in terms of population, thanks to Mr Mundell's party when they came in and they closed the shipyards, closed the heavy engineering, and people had to leave to go and find work. And as the Minister will remember, Mr Tebbett's comments of get on your bike. So people did. As I said, we've lost over 30,000 people in the Inverclyde area. And the NRS figures going from 1998 to 2019 are not positive reading, and certainly projections continue that in terms of the demographic challenge that an area like mine actually has. So when you mentioned earlier regarding a tailored approach, and also you mentioned the population strategy that was announced in the PFG last week, will there be a tailored approach within Scotland for that particular report and piece of work that the Scottish Government are going to undertake?
Thank you. How we not just attract people to Scotland, but consider depopulation and migration trends within Scotland as a whole is, as you would expect, of real pertinence to our analysis in the round, and was why Fiona Hislop set up the Ministerial Population Task Force last year in order to look across government in terms of devolved competence as to how we assess and intervene, if appropriate, with regard to internal migration challenges. So, you know, there are a number of aspects to devolved policy making that can help make an impact, make a difference when it comes to trying to tackle depopulation in different parts of Scotland. And the commitment in the PFG will analyse that and present it to Parliament and solutions as well as analysis. I would say that the pandemic has emphasised, you know, the potential for digital to really assist in some of these challenges, and that people will be able to live in one place and work in another in a much more amenable way if we embrace more home working and the real opportunities of digital that have been accelerated. It's one of the very, very few positives of the COVID-19 situation. Is the development of digital usage and use of digital technology. I would just argue as well that if we were successful in working with the UK government to have the ability for this Parliament to be able to deliver tailored solutions for Scotland, one area that we could look at together as a Parliament is how we would be able to use those powers to potentially weight the position of the Scottish visa in favour of individuals moving to different parts of Scotland and not just Scotland as a whole. But that would require a degree of flexibility within whatever arrangement we came to. So there's a lot of scope for action, particularly if we had more powers and the ability to implement tailored solutions, but the government is also actively looking with the powers that we do have as to how we try with what means are achievable by this institution to make a difference in that regard. Do you want to add anything, Rachel, to that?
I was just really going to add that one of the things that we are committed to looking at, that we have commissioned the expert advisory group to work up some proposals around, would be kind of rural migration pilots. So looking at the opportunity to take a slightly more tailored solution, and that was something which arose from evidence which the Scottish Government presented to the Migration Advisory Committee, that the Migration Advisory Committee accepted, that it was clear that the current migration system was not working for some areas, and therefore more geographically tailored solutions were required there. and that is something that we are going to take forward and look at specifically and bring forward a proposal as to what that might look like, and we'll be looking to do that on the basis of evidence and also in partnership with local government and other partners.
Thank you for that. I mean, I'm happy to have some input into that because my area is one of the worst in terms of population. Kenny Gibson's is not far behind. If you look from certainly from 1998, East Lothian has had a 21% increase in population. Inverclyde has 9.4% decrease. So clearly, the system, the immigration system as it currently is not working for my area in any way, shape, or form. And I accept as well, this isn't just about government, this is about all levers of public responsibility, local authorities too. There has to be a full partnership approach to try to turn this type of situation around. But I think that the idea regarding the home working and also with the use of the digital activity, that certainly could be positive for areas like mine and also the 8 local authority areas where there has been population decline. I think just in terms of a question for you though, in terms of government policy and activities, if there are going to be any new agencies to be created and established, could the 8 local authorities, but particularly also the one I would pitch for would be mine, could they be considered to be first for that type of tailored strategy? Because that could be a way of helping to bring additional people and also kind of resource into those local authorities that have got those acute challenges.
I mean, in the round, of course, government thinks about how government institutions create employment and how that would be how the establishment of different institutions across the country and how that's dispersed and trying to do that in a way that is considerate of creating employment opportunities and depopulation issues. With regard to if there was, say, for example, a Scottish Migration Agency where that would be located, I think it would be presumptuous of me to engage in that at present. But it's an interesting topic to raise because and we talk about this in the January paper, Migration Helping Scotland Prosper, is that the establishment of the Social Security Agency and the way that the Social Security Act was taken through Parliament as an enabling act for delivering those powers is an interesting precedent for how we could deliver tailored immigration policies for Scotland, in that the Social Security Agency is working with the DWP. We would have to work with the Home Office. The Scottish Government took a position and the Parliament agreed with it to set up an agency rather than a government department. And of course, one of the big challenges around the Home Office is that as a government department, it's not necessarily performing in the way that people who access the system would wish it to, and an agency may be a better approach. This is the sort of analysis that we would, of course, undertake in a robust and serious way before making decisions about how to deliver tailored migration policies for Scotland. But a lot of opportunity to do things in an agile way and in a more effective way. And taking inspiration from the way the social security powers are being delivered. Thank you.
Now move to Dean